Hello everyone, I'm Professor Nikhil Verma and today we are going to discuss or continue valuation of shares, which is a part of corporate accounting. In the previous video, we discussed which are the various methods of valuation of shares, and today we are going to look at the first method, which is net assets method. This method is also known as the balance sheet method, intrinsic value method, breakup value method, and asset backing method. So in the examination, if they ask you to find the value of a share based on any of these methods, it means it is the net asset method. The formula to calculate the value of an equity share is net assets available to equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. See, the number of equity shares will be given to you in the problem definitely. All you have to do is find out net assets available to equity shareholders. So how do you do that? How do you calculate net assets available to equity shareholders? You are going to take the market value of all the assets that are given to you. You are going to look at market values, okay? Focus on what I'm saying. Market value. You are only going to look at book values when the market values are not given. And there is a star mark, there is an asterisk that I have mentioned. So we are going to look in the next slide why that asterisk is mentioned. So I'll take all the assets and then I'll subtract all the outside liabilities, and I will also subtract preference share capital. Only then I'll be able to find out the net assets that are available to equity shareholders. And we are taking preference share capital only for calculations. Okay. You don't see preference shares being issued nowadays. It has been scrapped long ago. So similar to how you treated, how you found out net assets in valuation of goodwill, we are going to do the same here. But here we are going to take the value of goodwill as well. There we did not take the value of goodwill. Now notes to remember. There is one asterisk for assets and there are two asterisks for liabilities. So let us check why those are. All fictitious assets such as preliminary expenses, debit balance of P&L account, that is loss, discount on issue of shares and debentures, etc. should not be included in the assets. So we are not going to include any of these which are given in the asset side. We are also not going to take the loss of P&L account because that belongs to the equity shareholders. If market value of asset is not given, book values will be treated as market value. I've already explained to you. Now let us look at the notes or points to remember about the liabilities. General reserve, profit and loss account, credit balance, that is profit, debentures redemption fund, dividend equalization reserve, contingency reserves, share premium, etc. belong to equity shareholders and are not outside liability. See, we are going to take outside liability, and we know that reserves is not an outside liability. There are certain reserves, employee welfare reserve. See, that reserve is kept only for employees. That does not belong to the equity shareholders. So if that reserve is given, we will have to consider it and we will have to include it in the outside liabilities. However, there are some reserves which belong only to equity shareholders and we are not supposed to touch those. Next point, it is assumed that the equity shares of the company are of the same class and are equally paid. This is an assumption. Thank you. So on this note, we are going to look at one illustration. Have a look at this once again, guys. We are going to take all the assets at market values. You have to remember that very well. We are supposed to take market values. And then we are going to subtract all the outside liabilities and preference share capital. Again, at market values. If market values are not given, then we are going to take book values. So we'll do total of A, which is total of all the assets, minus total of B, which is total of outside liabilities and preference capital. Total of A minus total of B will give us net assets available to equity shareholders. So let us have a look at one of the illustrations. So the illustration is given here. The following is the balance sheet of X Company Limited as on 31/12/2015. They've given the liabilities side here. They've given share capital in note number 1, reserves and surplus in note number 2. Share capital, we only have equity shares, so need not worry about preference shares. Then we have reserves and surplus. Okay, we have reserves 1,50,000 less preliminary expenses 10,000. We are any which ways going to ignore this, so this doesn't matter. We are going to look at note 1 only for number of equity shares and nothing else. Okay. Then we have non-current liabilities. Debentures is outside liability. Then we have current liabilities, sundry creditors. These two will come under outside liabilities. Okay. Then we have assets. Under non-current assets, we have tangible fixed assets and we have intangible fixed assets. Value of goodwill is given here at 50,000. Then we have current assets at 2 lakh. Notes to balance sheet, we have already looked at it. Then we have some other information which is given here. The other fixed assets are valued at 4 lakh. Now what are these other fixed assets? Other fixed assets are nothing but tangible fixed assets. So tangible fixed assets are valued at 4 lakh. Market value is given, so we are going to take market value and not book value. The goodwill of the company is independently valued at 40,000. The market value of goodwill is 40,000 and it will be considered as 40,000 and not 50,000. There was a contingent liability of rupees 10,000 which has now become payable by the company. Now what do you mean by a contingent liability? Contingent liability means a liability that might occur or become payable in the future depending on occurrence of an event. And here this point says that the contingent liability of 10,000 which has now become payable. That means we have to pay it, and that is why it will become a liability or an outside liability, and it will not remain a contingent liability anymore. So even this 10,000 has to be included in the liabilities side. Okay. See, I have taken the solution here. First, we are going to draw this table. We are going to first find out the value of net assets available to equity shareholders. So we'll take all the assets first. We'll take tangible fixed assets. Market value is 4 lakh. Then we will take goodwill. Goodwill, we have market value, right? We will take 40,000. And we also have current assets. There is no information given about current assets in adjustment, so we'll have to take book values, which is 2 lakh. Let us do the total here. $6,40,000 is what we have got. This is total A. Which is nothing but total assets. We can write any one, total A or total assets. Now from those we have to subtract outside liabilities and preference share capital. We don't have preference share capital, so I'm not writing it there. Now we are going to take outside liabilities. First we'll take 10% debentures. The amount is 50,000. There is no value given in the adjustment, so we'll directly take 50,000. Then we have sundry creditors, which is given as current liability. Even there is no adjustment. We're going to write it as, we have written it as 1 lakh. Then there is an adjustment which is given about contingent liability, it has now become payable. We don't consider it a liability until it becomes payable. It will become a liability only when we have to pay that amount. We'll take that amount as well. This will be considered total of B or total outside liabilities. Let us do the total. This is 1,60,000. Now let us calculate net assets available for equity shareholders. Net assets available for equity shareholders, that is total of A minus total of B. We get 4,80,000 as the value of net assets that are available for equity shareholders. So we'll take that value here, 4,80,000, divided by number of equity shares. Number of equity shares are given here in note number 1, 40,000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. So we'll write 40,000 here. Now let us find out the value. So the value of an equity share is rupees 12. So if you see, the book value is 10 rupees, but the value that we have got is 12 rupees. So the current market value of an equity share is rupees 12. I hope you guys have understood how to calculate value of an equity share using net assets method. In the next class, we are going to look, or in the next video, we are going to look at a few more illustrations based on the same topic.